Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope I find you well, and today I'm going to make a different video than what I have normally on my channel. And I will make a video about the mistakes that people do when they exercise on their own, because I've seen a lot of people doing all sorts of mistakes, and I do think it is important to point out some important stuff that you should keep in your mind, or just be attentive with them before you start to exercise. So let's get started. Number 1, before you start to exercise, you need a reason. I believe that each one of us that starts to exercise at a certain point in their life, they have a reason. So before you start to exercise, you need to decide what do you want to achieve. If you want to lose weight, then I do highly recommend to not jog for losing weight. Many people that start running, they believe that they will just lose weight like that. The thing is that our body is a really good adapting mechanism. So even if you do run, you will just lose time in the first week, like 2-3 kilos, and then it will stop. So if you want to lose weight, jogging, it's not the right thing for you. Jogging is good to maintain your physical condition, but not to lose weight, because you build up muscles and you do not end up losing weight the way you want. If you want to lose weight, you can do different stuff that makes your body to work, but not running. Like for instance, you could do some fitness training, like dancing or aerobica, or other stuff that makes your body to exercise without stressing it too much. And of course, it also has to come with a diet, or the right diet for you, accordingly to what you normally eat or do every day. So decide really well what's your goal, and depending on what you want to achieve, you need to choose the right thing for you. Number 2, I've seen people exercises and doing this every day, daily. So the big mistake is that our body, it's not endless on resources, and if you do exercise every day, you will end up damaging your body. Like you can injure yourself, you can get sick, or you just use your resources and you will age faster. So the idea is that exercising too much is a really big mistake. Do not exercise every day. We are not professional sportive people. We just want to have a good lifestyle and a good physical condition, and for that, exercises 2-3 times per week is more than enough. If you work, 2 times should be enough. So if you have a physical work and you do work every day, then you can exercise on a free day. If you have a work that you sit in the office, you're sitting on a chair, you do not make physical work, then you can exercise on the days that you work as well. It's not a problem. But again, it is important to know how is your body reacting to all these exercises, because fatigue will show up eventually if you exercise wrong and if you do it too much. I've seen people also, if they do jog and run, they do it for long distances, like training for marathon or doing 10, 20, 15 kilometers, which is also a mistake, because not everybody can last so long time in training and in long time in moving, in active moving, because again, just for exercising, maintaining your body, it's enough. 3 to 5 kilometers, it's more than enough for just a workout. You don't need to go there and prepare for marathon, because you will start to have other problems, like your knees will start to hurt, or your ankles will start to hurt, you can injure your feet, and so on. Again, long-time exercise, it's not good for your body. Know your limits and don't overdo it. Number 3, I will talk about some rules that you need to keep up in your mind when you exercise. So one of the main things that people do not really think about is water. Keeping your body hydrated is really, really important. So water, it's a must to drink. I recommend to drink water before you start to exercise with half of hour. Half hour before you start exercise, drink a cup full of water, or drink like almost half a liter or half liter of water. Should be enough to keep you with plenty of water during your exercise. I don't really recommend to drink during your exercise because when you're really warmed up and you're hot, you do not feel how much you drink. You can end up drinking too much water, and that also is a problem. So that's why people, for instance, that they have marathon, they end up drinking water 2 or 3 times more than they are supposed to because they are really hot and they do not feel how much they drink because the body is full of adrenaline and it's all hot and you have the sensation that it's never enough. So if it's possible for you to avoid drinking during the workout because of this, then do it. If no, then be attentive how much you drink. Take just 1 bottle of sportive water, for instance, and use just that bottle during your exercise, no more and no less. Also, the sportive water helps you to, get rid of this thirst feeling faster. So water is important before exercise because you have to be hydrated and because your blood gets thinner and you will avoid getting clots. That's another part of having water in your body, and it's good to drink it before training as well after training. So after training you're going to replenish the water that you used out of the body, that got out. You sweated and you used it. After you exercise, you cool off and then you can drink water. And again, don't drink too much. Drink like another half liter. Take a break, see how you feel, if it's enough or not, and then you can drink a little bit more if you feel that was not enough. But again, don't overdo it with the water because it is important. Overdoing with the water, you can actually die. Next, warming up. Another point that many people don't pay attention to it, either because they don't have the time or because they don't have the patience or just because they don't know how important it is. So warming up is vital when you exercise because, again, when you have a cold body and you start right away to run or start right away to push it in a gym class, then you can really damage yourself, your body. You can have a muscle damage or you can different exercises can damage in a different way and in a serious way. So you need to warm up, and there are plenty of exercises that helps you to warm up. The basics that are in the school, mostly when the teacher warm up with the kids. So those are really basic exercises for warming up. If you don't know any, or if you want to find out more exercises, you just can Google them and they show a lot of exercises for you. So it is really important to do warm up. Personally, I prefer to make just 2-3 exercises for warming up, and those would be knee bending and jumps. So these 2, knee bending and jumps, work really well in making your blood run through your body. Let's say if you don't have that much time, but still you need to warm up a little bit, and take 10 minutes to make some knee bending exercises or just to jump a little bit, and that should do also the trick. Now, another thing to mention, that warming up, as more you warm up, as better it is, because our body doesn't really warm up in just 1 minute. So actually a proper warm-up session can take up to half an hour. But again, if you don't have all that time, for 10-15 minutes, do some knee bending or some jumps, some simple things that you can do before starting to exercise. Next, stretches. I know that every trainer and so on, they say that during your exercise, during your training, you need to stretch out your muscles so you can have that flexibility and avoid getting muscles injury, getting your pulling muscle or breaking the muscle tissue and so on. So stretches are important, but I am going to point out some things about stretching. Personally, I advise stretching to do it at the end of the training. So imagine you worked out for, I don't know, half an hour, 1 hour, doesn't matter. After you stopped exercising, when you want to cool off your body, you can stretch while you cool off your body. So stretching, it is more important to do it at the end when your muscle is warm and already worked out and has to rest. And to help it to rest, you stretch out a little bit. I don't advise stretching during training, because stretching during training takes out the performance of your muscle, because after you stretch, your muscle doesn't know how to contract and you lose like 50% of your strength in your muscle, you lose it up. So stretching during training, I don't really advise if you want to have a full workout intensive, and let's say that you have a specific goal to achieve, a specific timing or whatever. If you want it to not affect your performance, then avoid stretching during training and do it at the end. And stretching also takes time, and every position should take from 30 to 1 or 2 minutes. So stretching is not just 5 seconds and you got up, but it's more time. Spend like at least 1 minute, 1 minute and a half in one position, because again, it is important so your muscle gains flexibility. And there are plenty of stretches exercises that you can find, and each of them, they are meant for a muscle. So depending on what do you practice, then you'll want to stretch more some muscles than others. So if you run, then you want to stretch out your legs, obviously. And again, if you use your back a lot in the gym, and then you will need to stretch out your back as well and your belly, because again, every muscle is important in your body, and there is exercise for any particular muscle that you want to stretch out. So don't avoid it. After training, take like 10 minutes when you cool off and do some stretches. Next, people that go out to run or they go to the gym, they don't always wear the right clothes that they need. This is important because, again, during your training and exercise, you sweat a lot. Especially if you do this for a while and your body is used to warm up quickly and work out, you sweat a lot and you get completely almost wet. So what is the problem? The problem is that the uncomfortable clothes, they don't cool you off, and they keep you wet and cold. So the good clothes for you are those that are sportive clothes, because they have this light synthetic that dries out quickly, and that they do have this ventilation through the material and helps your skin to have air, to have access to air. Also, it is important to keep in mind, if you practice outside and it's cold and it's winter, for instance, but you do go to exercise, dress up warm enough. It is good to keep you warm, and once you stop moving, you need right away to take all the wet clothes out and change and dry, or go take a shower. If you can't take a shower, then change completely in dry clothes. Why? Because in the moment you are wet and it's cold, that's the moment you get sick. To avoid this, you can still practice in the winter, or you can still practice in the rain, but again, as long as you're moving, it's not a problem. Once you stopped, that's the problem, that you stay in the cold and then you get sick. So avoid this, and once you avoid this, you won't ever get sick while you practice outside in the cold. So comfortable clothes, they do help you to exercise, because if you go in something that it's really tight, like pair of jeans or other clothes, they all either fell off your body, or they either keep you too tight and you can't breathe, or you can't move properly. They keep your legs too tight, and that is also a problem, because the circulation in your body can stop or not be correctly, and we should avoid all these things. So before you exercise, choose some sportive, comfortable clothes. Doesn't matter how much you pay, because they are worth. It's about your health. Talking about clothes, we will talk about shoes. People choose their shoes, but they don't choose the right shoes for them. So what happens? That they choose the wrong size, or they don't choose the right shoes. So imagine if you do run, it is good to take running shoes. Why? Because they're light and they make this movement of running comfortable. You avoid to get ankles injured. So the right shoes does help you to run easier. If you cycle, you need to get those shoes for cycling, because they do help you to cycle easier, right? For those pedals and so on. Not all the shoes are for the bike pedals and so on. Doesn't matter what sport you do or what you practice, shoes are important, and I do advise to invest into a good pair of shoes, because again, good pair of shoes last for a long time. I personally have a pair of shoes that I have already for over 5 years, and they're still good, and I still use them almost every time that I go out. So a good shoes is going to last long, and again, they help you with exercising. So don't forget to choose the right shoes for you. Not too big and not too small. Choose your right size. Put them on you, walk with them in the shop, and choose the right shoes for you. Next, the point that we're going to move next is the food, because plenty of people, or they eat too much before they going to train, or they don't eat because they are on diet and they want to lose weight. So that's the thing. The thing is that when you exercise, you do lose a lot of energy. It's calories, and your body needs to replenish these resources. So actually it is important to eat. I do advise you to avoid eating before 2 hours of training and after 2 hours of training, because you will get sick, or you start vomiting, or you have stomach aches, you make an impact on your pancreas, on your liver. So avoid eating right before training and after training. You need to let your body be without food when you train. So the thing is like this: if you make something intensive, like let's say you sprint a little bit or you swim, the water also sucks out a lot of energy, and you will feel eventually really hungry. Wait until your body cools off, and then you can have a meal. I don't know what kind of diet you have and so on, but it is important to eat a little bit of everything, which means that besides fruits and besides vegetables, you need some meat, you need some cereals, eat also yogurts and cheese, and again, you need to eat a little bit of everything. A correct diet is based on everything, a little bit of everything. I am not going to discuss right now the vegetarian and vegan stuff, because it's another subject to go into, but again, for a person that wants to have a good body replenished, you need to eat a little bit of everything. So excluding something completely, I don't recommend, because your body needs it in one way or another, and if you do have some deficiency in your diet, later you will see that it does affect the way you feel, and it does affect the way you train, because the performance is also based on what you eat. So also, don't starve too long. I've seen people that don't eat for days, and then they also exercise in these time, so that it's strictly forbidden. Don't exercise without eating anything, like at all, for days or a very long period of time, because you will get sick. Why? Since your tension drops really low, you get headaches, and you start to feel weak, and you have this fatigue in your body, and then you put it to work out intensively, and you stress your body too much. So having a diet, I'm not saying you should not keep a diet. You can have a diet, but again, not starving. While starved, do not work out. Don't work out when you starve. So that's strictly forbidden. So next we're going to talk, it's about pain. Since our body might not be used with working out always, imagine you just start to work out, or you work out for a short amount of time and you notice that you experience different kind of pain. The pain has a reason, like all kinds of pain. So it is really important to pay attention what kind of pain you experience and see if you can actually continue with exercising, or you need to change something, you need to stop. Because if you don't listen to your body, you will eventually injure yourself. The pain can be really varies body to body and exercise to exercise. So okay, didn't pop up what I wanted. I will give examples. If you exercise running, you might experience pain in your knees. Why? Or because you run too much, or because your weight does affect your knees. So if you either do it too much, or you do run for too long time, or you either have too big weight for your knees. So that's why I always say exercising, it shouldn't be in excessive, because this kind of pain will appear. If you have experienced any kind of pain, the right thing is just to stop. Give your body a rest for some days, and then try again to exercise, maybe less, and see how you do react. If the pain comes back, means that or you have maybe knees problem, or means that you do something wrong, or you step wrong, or you run wrong, or you really run too much. And that's how it is. Always be attentive to what kind of pain you experience, because it does talk about your body. Ankles, for instance. If you have a problem with your ankles, you maybe step wrong, or maybe you have the wrong shoes, or you can buy those elastics for your ankles and for your knees, and they help you to avoid traumatizing them. Headaches is also a common thing that happens. For instance, people do complain of headaches after running, or it's because they either didn't drink enough water, or because their circulation of the blood it's not the right for their brain, and they start instantly to have some headaches in their head. The thing is, as I said, don't forget to drink water before exercising. This can help you to get rid of the headaches. But again, headaches do talk about other things, like not the right tension, or that your circulation is not correspondingly how it should be. You should go check out with a doctor. You should go check out your heart, because your heart also works differently when you exercise. So as I said, always pay attention to your pain. Also, for instance, if you do run when it's really cold outside or really hot, you'll experience throat pain. It will scratch, it will hurt. Good thing for that is to have a hot tea. It helps your throat to relax and to warm up. Again, every pain that you have in your body talks about a problem. You should stop exercising, finding the source, and solve it. If you do have a muscle pain, that means that you pulled the muscle in a wrong movement, in a wrong position. That means or because you weren't warm up enough, or because you overdid it. if for instance you are going to sprint before you are warm up properly, you will definitely injure your muscles. Sprinting always is at the end of training if you ever do want to sprint, because you need to have all your body fully warm. And as I said, warming up properly takes like half an hour or more. That's why it is important to avoid sprinting before or at the beginning of a training. It's better to leave it at the end. If your body is warmed up properly, you won't have any muscle problems. But if you are not warmed up, and you eventually will pull out the wrong muscle, or you will break some muscle tissue, and then you will just ignore it and go back to exercise the second day or the third day, and the pain will go back. Why? Because the muscle to recover, you need to have a really big break, like 2 weeks or around that. You need a long time to leave the muscle to recover by itself, and then to continue to practice. Otherwise, it won't heal. Also, one thing, once you have a muscle tearing, it can come back in the same spot. So keep it in mind to be careful when you practice, because again, our body does talk what problems it has, and if you do experience any sort of pain, stop whatever you are doing. So I think I covered pretty much everything when it comes to the main mistakes when people do it. And have fun exercising, and again, be very attentive and listen to your body, because it is important. And I wish you have fun. Take care and stay healthy. See you next time. Bye bye.